Okay, so this video is called Pagani Lamborghini's Biggest Mistake, and it's by SQUIDD. Like, that's literally the person's name. SQUIDD. The SQUIDD. SQUIDD. But anyway, I've seen like a few of his videos, and I'm a big fan of Pagani. Let's learn more about this. Oh God, this is already going so great. Anyway, let's learn about Horatio and his journey to Paganism, if that's even a term.
In the early hours of an August Monday in 1911, Vincenzo Peruggia sits huddled in a dimly lit staircase at the Louvre. His face is dripping with sweat as he quickly removes his white smock and wraps it around a small painting. A painting he isn't supposed to have. A work that he believes belongs in Italy, not France. What he carries out of the back doors of the Louvre is the Mona Lisa.
The Mona Lisa.
Italian painter Da Vinci's Renaissance masterpiece. This isn't just any painting, it is the painting. The stunning portrait of Lisa del Giocondo is largely regarded as one of the greatest works of art of all time. And that fame is in large part thanks to the theft by Vincenzo, which caused the world to give a new focus to the painting. What the world saw when it returned to France 2 years later was that smile.
Oh, I didn't like that. I didn't like that wink. That was kind of creepy. It was like a bit of an AI thing going on there. I don't know. It was probably like a morphing thing, but I don't like how she winked at me.
A smile that was the result of Da Vinci's dedication to learning science as well as art. His knowledge of facial muscles guiding his hands to paint her elusive smile. The painting would be one of the world's greatest meetings of art and science.
Oh, here we go.
Nearly a century later, a machine would grace the cobblestone streets of Italy that was again a combination of engineering and poetry. The creation of a man who crossed great oceans, worked his way up from humble beginnings, and stood up to the world's supercar titans. What he created would be an orchestra powered by 12 cylinders. A beautiful sculpture made of composites. The Pagani Zonda was a modern masterpiece. A supercar that stood on its own. As Lamborghinis became stale and old, and Ferraris became clinical and boring,
True.
Pagani Zonda spilled its colorful paint across the streets of Italy, and breathed life back into Modena. This is the story of a breakthrough performance from a true virtuoso. A tale spun of carbon fiber and 95 octane. This is the story of Horatio Pagani's opening act.
Yes. Yeah, you gotta love the bit rate.
Modena, Italy. In the 1980s, it is home to some of the greatest car makers in the world. De Tomaso, Ferrari, and of course, Lamborghini.
Hell yeah.
The early 80s were Lamborghini's heyday. Coming off the success of the Miura, their next creation would be a standout hit. The Countach. Sure, it was uncomfortable, hard to drive, and impossible to see out of, but the Countach was undeniably a work of moving art.
I love the idea of like me buying a Countach and then like going to McDonald's into the drive-thru being like, oh yeah, can I get like a Diet Coke, please? I go next to the drive-thru, the cashier, the window, and like because of the window, like it doesn't go all the way down. It's like half the window can only go down, and so I reach my arm out and then I just spill it all over the place. It's like I'd literally have to open the door, make sure not to scrape the door on the drive-thru just to get my drink, and then close it back down. But I don't even think that the Countach has cup holders, so Countach and Diablo, the best combination. I would prefer having a Diablo, to be honest, compared to a Countach. Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, the Countach is unreliable. It depends on how well you use it. But I don't know, there's something about the Diablo. It's almost kind of like the forgotten child of Lamborghini, because everyone remembers the Countach, everyone remembers the Murcielago, the Gallardo, Huracan, and stuff like that. Even the Miura, right? But I don't know, that with the main V12 lineup, it feels like the Diablo is the kind of the forgotten one.
And for a brief moment, Lamborghini was on top of the world.
Deserved.
But that moment would not last. As the 80s dragged on, no one could afford to buy their fantastic machines, and Lamborghini could hardly afford to make them. Italian passion gave into American industrialism as Chrysler took over Lamborghini, and the sun appeared to be setting on the Italian automotive renaissance. Modena started to look like a ghost town, and Italian supercar posters were being replaced by the rising stars from Japan and Britain. Lamborghini was staring down the barrel.
God, anybody remember that? Anybody remember the Jaguar XJ220? Anybody remember that? When they, of course, like we weren't alive when those were being advertised, but back then, the Jaguar XJ220 was like, as far as I remember, they were very heavily advertised, but then it was delayed so much that when it eventually did come out, it didn't really sell that well. But it sucks because it's like, it is such a good design. It's such a good design. And then Jaguar had the CX-75 or something like that in like the mid 2000s, which was supposed to be like a modern interpretation of the Jaguar XJ220. And then they had a prototype. It was ready. It was even in a James Bond film. I think it was Spectre. And they just canceled it. Like, why would you do that? That was the moment. Guys, listen, that was unironically a moment. The moment that they canceled the CX-75 is the moment that they were doomed. That Jaguar was doomed as a company. And now they have that Type 00, that horrible, ugly ass shit that came out last year. Right? The advertisement, the copy nothing thing. It's like, okay, so it's a car made of marble or something. And everyone made fun of it. Everyone made fun of it. It's like, the fuck are you doing? Like fucking Dodge, like when they came out with the electric Charger, they realized like, oh fuck, we made a huge mistake with this one, and now they're reversing course, and now, even though it's not a V8 yet, they've put a proper I think it's like an inline 6 engine in it, and that's infinitely better automatically. Even though it's not a V8, it's instantly better, and people are kind of like, this is all right. If that car, Dodge Charger Daytona, the new one, came out with a V8, that would have been a stellar hit. I guarantee it, because its design, some people are a bit with its design. I think that new Dodge Charger looks absolutely fantastic, because I love the retro styling. It's why I prefer the Dodge Challenger more than the Dodge Charger. I prefer the Mustang to be a hybrid than an electric one. Yeah, even if it had to have like components in it, if they had to have some sort of electrification in it, it's the same with Porsche. Just make it a hybrid, right? Just have a hybrid component in it. But speaking of Mustang though, they actually came out being like, yeah, the manual's not going away. We're keeping the manual, which was like, I hate this word. I think you guys know that I hate this word, but I'm like, okay, that's pretty based. Just the overall styling of that Type 00, it's just like, what are you doing? Jaguar, what are you actually doing? It just makes me so sad. And they, oh my God, they put out an advertisement showing like all these past Jaguars, these beautiful Jaguars. Like, I'm not a Jaguar stan. I'm not even a super Jaguar fan at all. Like, they're kind of just in the background, but they showed all these different Jaguar designs and these silhouettes. And then they try to put that along with them. It's like, see, nothing's changed. And it's like, dude, you're not fucking fooling anyone. Just fucking stop. Like, what are you doing? 80s, 90s, 2000 and 2010s was the golden era of car design. Definitely. Like, some people are kind of trying to say like, oh, after the mid 2000s, like that's when car design died. I'm like, nah, that's not true. Definitely after 2015, that's when things start to get a bit, things started to go about downhill. And now today it's just like, Porsche, what are you doing with your designs? I really don't like them. Jaguar, again, we've talked about this. There are some hitters, but my god, there's so many shitters out there.
Lamborghini was staring down the barrel of bankruptcy. De Tomaso quietly faded away.
No.
And Fiat tried desperately to save both Maserati and Ferrari. Thankfully, though, during all this turmoil, a young man was sweeping the shop floors of Lamborghini's factory, and he had something to prove. One of Italy's most notable designer stories doesn't start in Florence or Rome, but Argentina, the birthplace of the ballpoint pen, cartoons.
Wait, really? I actually did not know that. I thought it would have been like a European thing.
And of course, chimichurri.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
I love chimichurri.
Nice.
Perhaps the most notable creation of Argentina would come in 1955, when a boy named Horacio Pagani was born in the town of Casilda. Horacio's parents raised him on the meager salary of a baker and a music teacher. It was barely enough to keep them afloat, meaning that when Horacio wanted a bicycle, he had to build one out of spare parts.
Okay, look how baller that picture is. I wonder if that's like his original bike. If so, that would be really, really cool if that was.
He would use that bicycle to ride around town and admire cars. And one of his first fascinations was with one of the most important sports cars ever made, the Jaguar E-Type.
Oh my god.
Look, it just cannot be.
Like, literally as what we were talking about. Look at this. Look at this shit. Look how beautiful that is. Speaking of Jags, yeah, exactly. Like, literally perfect timing. Speak of the devil. Look how, like, I love the hips at the back. It reminds me of the Boxster. Like, because it's a convertible, we use the Boxsters, but the Porsche Cayman has it as well. I love the hips at the back. Like, a car that has, like, actual pronounced hips at the back, and then, like, you know, it's like hips you can feel. It's like, that is peak design right there.
Overstated how many designers found their muse in Jaguar's open-top sports car. It's certainly a topic worth covering in the future.
That's a nice color. It's like a pearlescent brown, like a purpley kind of brown color. I like that. Oh, hi Jeremy, how you doing?
Horacio found an E-Type in his city and spent hours examining every detail of the shapely machine. There weren't very many nice cars in this small South American town, so the chance to be up close and personal to such an influential car was life-changing. That E-Type was a revelation for young Horacio. That a car could be so stunning and so beautiful, with curves like a beautiful woman.
Hey yo.
And with the roar of a lion bellowing.
Look, just look how good this thing looks. Jaguar, what the fuck are you doing? Oh my god, like, I'm sorry, like, I forgot about the Jaguar 00 Type 00 thing, whatever the fuck they call it. But like again, that advertisement, again, with all these cars, the Jaguar E-Type and stuff like that, it's just like a spit in the face. It's like, yeah, you want these beautiful cars, right? Well, have this fucking chiseled piece of shit. It's like, I don't want the chiseled piece of shit. I don't want it. Give me this. God, it's such... God, Jaguar pisses me off so much, dude.
Beneath its skin. From then on, Horacio's focus was narrowed. Between his music lessons, he would read racing magazines and carve his favorite cars out of wood. And in those magazines, he learned about the Italian city of Modena.
Wait, what car was that?
Wood. And in those magazines,
GT... I mean, it's a 911 of some sort.
He learned about...
Yeah, it's a 911. I don't know what 911 that is, though. I can't see... GTS? I don't know what those buckets are, but that's a wild interior.
The Italian city,
and it's one that you can actually do, like for certain models, you can have the Porsche's interior just colored in the body color. I've seen a few, and some of them, I look at them and I'm like, okay, that's a bit much. But then if it's like a few pieces here and there that are body colored, I'm like, yeah, I could see I could see myself having that.
Of Modena, where the world's most beautiful sports cars were bent from steel and aluminum, the holy Italian temples of Maserati, Lamborghini, and Ferrari.
Boo.
Maybe it was the half-Italian blood coursing through his veins, but Horacio knew that he would one day call Italy home. And there, he would make his own cars. Throughout his teenage years, Horacio fixed things for locals in his workshop. The work within those walls would refine his skills and push him to develop a core philosophy. With his hands, he would create art, play piano, carve wood, and bend metal. And with his mind, he would engineer, repairing machines, building bicycles, and designing dream cars. Like Leonardo da Vinci, Pagani would seek to combine art and science. By 1973, Horacio had set off for college to pursue majors in both engineering and art, all the while running a successful business back home, creating a variety of products like bar stools and campers. But in the late 1970s, he finally got around to fulfilling his passion, creating a car, the best kind of car, a racing car. Horacio penned the aerodynamic body of his Formula 2 car with confidence, but he lacked the engineering know-how to build an engine for it. So he reached out to Renault, which was one of the few companies with any presence in Argentina at the time. With his designs in hand, he demanded Renault give him an engine and allow him to be part of the Renault factory team.
That's look how curvy this thing is. Like, even back then, he was thinking ahead of like aerodynamics and stuff like that. And he looks like he doesn't even look like he's like out of his 20s, right? He looks like he's in his early 20s then. Like, this guy knew what he was doing.
Part of the Renault factory team.
Renault.
They acquiesced. Their results in Formula 2 were not earth-shattering, but it was still an impressive feat for a...
I love the hair. Yeah, I love the 70s hair. 60s? 70s hair? Look at that mullet he has.
College kid to build a competitive racing car. And this being the late 1970s, everyone was looking for another Gordon Murray to appear. Renault saw in Horacio that same spark, and reached out to Horacio to get him more involved. To break the ice, they brought with them another Argentinian, Formula 1 champion Juan Manuel Fangio. Horacio and Fangio became fast friends, and Horacio signed on to the Renault team as a design consultant. To inspire young Horacio, his new friend took him all over to meet the heads of Fiat and Mercedes, whom he'd driven for in the past.
I don't know if it's just me, but I love in like all these pictures and videos, he looks so like, Horacio looks so like, I don't know, like stunted. Like, he's just kind of there, just like a statue. Like, he looks kind of wooden. It's like he doesn't want to be there. That's always the type of vibe that I've gotten from Horacio when I see him in like videos and pictures. It's like he almost doesn't want to be there. He's just kind of there because he has to, and so he's like, all right, I'll do this, but can I get back to, you know, drawing and doing art and building my $1 million supercars, please?
For Fangio, it was a chance for him to pass on his decades of racing knowledge and an excuse to party with young Horacio.
Hell yeah.
For Horacio, it was his first real experience with rubbing shoulders with the automotive giants. This experience was the final straw. Horacio knew what he needed to do. And in 1983, he packed his bags and moved to Modena. He arrived in Italy with no real prospects, carrying a tent, a bicycle, and most importantly, 5 letters of recommendation from Fangio. He would take those letters to all of Italy's finest sports car companies.
That, like, seriously, that must be so scary. Like back then, like, immigrating somewhere was probably easier, but like, he just had a tent and just a few items. So he was basically homeless. Like imagine if I moved over to, let's say, America, right? Like I wanted to move over to America for the longest time, so I'll just use that. But even just a European country, it's like I just move over there just haphazardly. Like, oh, yep, I'm here now, and I just have like a tent. Like, I feel like what the fuck would I do? Like I would feel so lost in what to do. Like, I'm sure that there's probably like services I would go to help out, but it's like people who do that take like a big risk in doing that. So honestly, I hate the word Chad because of how much it's been overused and I kind of bastardized in some way, but seriously, it's a pretty Chad move in order to move over here with basically nothing. But he was like, you know what, I can do this.
Begging for a job, but he was turned down by Fiat, De Tomaso, Maserati, and Ferrari. Last on his list was Lamborghini.
Come on,
the
Lamborghini.
Makers of Italy's most beautiful machines. A perfect home for Horacio and his dreams of femininely shaped sports cars. But they too said no.
No.
With nothing left to lose, he showed up at Lamborghini's door anyway, and they begrudgingly gave a young man his dream job.
Ugh, fine. We'll give you a job. Jesus Christ. Be a janitor or something.
And they begrudgingly gave a young man his dream job. Young Horatio enters the hallowed halls of Italy's finest supercar builder, Automobile
Yo,
Lamborghini,
Diablo, let's go.
the shining icon of Sanagata Bolognese. As he stands surrounded by the men who built the 350 GT and the Miura, he stares with mouth agape, stars in his eyes, and a broom in his hand. Horacio Pagani is now the official janitor of Lamborghini.
He's not just a janitor, he's the official janitor. What a title. And Lamborghini made the same mistake later. Really? Oh, well, I'll be interested to learn about that later.
Horacio Pagani is now the official janitor of Lamborghini. Every morning he would climb on his bicycle, leave his little shack on the outskirts of town, and get to work cleaning up cigar ash and oil stains in the shadow of machines he could only dream of designing. Dirty, crummy job or not, his passion had not waned. With hard work and patience, Horacio soon found himself rising through the ranks. Thanks to his wealth of experience shaping fiberglass back in Argentina, he got a spot on the new composite materials team.
Okay,
Their
upgrade.
first project was creating the bodywork of the wild, way ahead of its time Italian war machine, the LM002.
Oh my
a
god.
Massive Humvee-like truck. It was a pretty weird departure for a sports car brand, and the V12-powered off-road beast was a critical failure for Lamborghini, but it was a career boost for Horatio himself.
This was basically the Urus before the Urus. But in some way, I prefer this, even though I wouldn't drive it. I prefer this over the Urus, especially the first generation of Urus. I don't know, like they've redesigned the Lamborghini Urus. They've updated like the headlights and some of the stylings, and so now I'm kind of like, oh, you know what? It's not that bad now, but still, there's just no, I can't with the Urus. The thing is with the Urus, my brother for some reason loves the Urus, and yet everyone else that I know, including myself, is just like, no, it's hideous. What the fuck? But he's so adamant about the Urus. There was something though. He said that I think I mentioned the car that I liked that he said like, oh, that's fucking ugly. But then it's like, brother, you literally, brother, you like the Urus. You have no room to talk whatsoever.
He had proven himself to the higher ups of Lamborghini and even befriended famed test driver Valentino Balboni. His next task then was to finally work on a real Lamborghini, restyling and adding composites to the unloved Yalpa. By 1986,
oh my god, I forgot that this thing even existed. Isn't this kind of like, I think it was a V8 or V6? I think it was like kind of like the Gallardo before the Gallardo and like the Huracan, right? It was like the more affordable Lamborghini, something like that. Man, I totally forgot about this thing.
By 1987, his dreams were on the cusp of finally being realized. He was a chief engineer overseeing the composites department and had become obsessed with a new material called carbon fiber.
Let's go.
A strong, space-age composite material that had proven itself on the racetrack. Strong, space-age
monkey, smash it.
Horatio wanted nothing more than to build the new special edition Countach out of the revolutionary material. All he needed was an autoclave, and his team at Lamborghini could get to work. The heads of Lamborghini, though, didn't really give a shit about carbon fiber.
Big mistake.
I mean, after all, Lamborghinis weren't racing, and Ferrari didn't build carbon fiber at the time, so why should they? You ever work for a boss who just doesn't get it? I sure have. That was not ideal. Anyway, when you work for an out-of-touch, lazy, and uninspired boss, sometimes you have to just do it your fucking self.
True.
To prove he was right to Lamborghini, Horatio went to the bank and took out a gigantic loan and bought his own autoclave. Now, for those that don't know, an autoclave is basically a giant oven and a vacuum chamber used to form and strengthen molded carbon fiber. They're massive and expensive machines. And Horatio just showed up one day with one at Lamborghini. Working with sheets of carbon fiber and developing new techniques from scratch, Horatio and his special composites team would build the world's fastest Lamborghini, the Countach Evolution. An oddly shaped but stunning tech demo made out of carbon fiber, Kevlar, and aluminum. The use of these new materials allowed Horacio's team to shrink the weight of the Countach to less than that of a Mazda Miata.
That
And it was
is
still powered by
that is really, really difficult. Like getting it to the weight of a Miata, that like for a V12 Lamborghini to get to that weight is a feat. Horatio would be like, okay, I'll do it myself. Like I love the image of just him getting this autoclave and just rolling it through Lamborghini's off factory, and the and the guy's just being like, what the hell is that? Oh, it's an autoclave. I just bought it myself. And they were just like, oh, all right.
and it was still powered by that massive Lamborghini V12, meaning this new Countach was capable of hitting 60 miles per hour in nearly 4 seconds and soaring to over 200 miles per hour. It was a concept car that was faster than the fastest car in the world at the time, the Porsche 959.
Let's fucking go.
It wasn't pretty, but it was proof that Pagani knew what he was talking about. He was fervent in his belief that these new materials were the future of sports cars. But Lamborghini continued to ignore him.
God, what a huge oversight. Now every single like sports car, supercar, hypercar, and maybe even not even like those like high-end sports cars, in some way, one way, shape, or form, use carbon fiber. And yet back then they were just like, no. God, what a wasted opportunity. They like Lamborghini really shot themselves. Like Ferrari, of course, like they just weren't doing that whole thing, but like they could have kept on Horatio. Lamborghini could have kept on Horatio Pagani, right? But they were just so short-sighted that they essentially just threw him out. He was just like, nah, I'm not staying here anymore. I'm gonna do it myself. I'll prove you guys wrong.
And probably because they were flat broke. The thought of building cars out of more expensive materials using huge autoclaves likely scared the heads of Lamborghini away from the idea.
Okay, I guess.
Supercar sales had plummeted. Even though at the time, Lamborghini was a small company, they just couldn't pivot to a new way of making cars. This, of course, frustrated Pagani. His philosophy was that cars should be both beautiful and functional at all costs. They shouldn't be designed with profitability in mind.
True.
He didn't care if anyone bought them. He just saw sports cars as art, worthy of existing just to exist. After struggling with trying to push the Italian bull in a new direction, he shook hands with his engineers, packed up his autoclave, and left.
And Lamborghini lost one of their greatest assets of all time. Like, you just know, like in like the offices, like once Horatio was like making the Pagani and stuff like that with carbon fiber, that they were like scrambling, like, fuck, what have we done?
What was it about carbon fiber that drove Pagani to leave his dream job in pursuit of its use? His dedication to the material was probably thanks to his lifelong mentor, Juan Manuel Fangio, who is perhaps the most unlucky racing driver in history.
Oh no.
Fangio had been a magnet for automotive disasters throughout his entire automotive career.
Sounds like me.
He drove off a cliff during a rally in 1948. The accident killed his co-driver. A few years later, he'd be thrown from his car at Monza. Then, in 1955, he drove for Mercedes-Benz at Le Mans.
Oh
and
no.
we all know how that went.
Oh yeah.
He was kidnapped in Cuba. Fangio was unlucky as sin, even when he wasn't driving. In 1981, Fangio was invited to Italy to be the guest of honor at the Monza Grand Prix.
Oh no.
There, the newly constructed McLaren MP41, driven by John Watson, spun off the track and smashed into a barrier.
No. Okay, that wasn't. Oh shit, it's on fire.
It was the kind of accident that most drivers in the 80s wouldn't walk away from. Miraculously, Watson climbed out of the remaining half of the car unharmed.
It wasn't that bad. I mean, I'm sure it wasn't comfortable, but I don't know. Like, I've seen accidents from around this time that, honestly, it's like definitely was a lot worse. That one was kind of just like a bump on the rear.
The secret to his survival was that the MP41 was the first to be built with a carbon fiber monocoque, meaning that the driver sat safely encased in a nearly indestructible egg. That shell kept Watson safe in the crash. It also kept the car lightweight and rigid, and it started a trend that continues to this day. Fangio and the rest of the racing world learned one immutable fact that day, that the future was to be made out of carbon fiber. Now at the time, it was not an easy material to work with. McLaren themselves had to send their design off to Hercules Aeronautics to have them build the carbon fiber components, because no one in racing actually knew how to work with the stuff. Translating the technology to a production road car would take a genius. Now, in 1987, Lamborghini had one such genius at their disposal, Horacio Pagani, but sadly, he was ignored, and Lamborghini would lose the race to build the world's first carbon fiber supercar.
So
that title would go to Jaguar with the XJ220.
Let's fucking go. Jaguar back again. Oh, wait. Sorry, I got the... that title goes to the Jaguar XJR-17. Sorry, I got the car wrong. Nah, you're... listen, man. I love seeing the XJ220 on my screen. It's such a beautiful car.
That title would go to Jaguar with the XJ220.
God, it looks
and then,
so good.
Of course, in 1992, Gordon Murray and the McLaren F1.
Yes! Yes! The McLaren F1 with not only carbon fiber, but also gold. Gold plating for a heat reduction.
Singular focus on weight savings meant that he had to build the F1 out of advanced composites like carbon fiber. The result was a car that had incredible stiffness and of course unheard of speed.
It will not go any more than 391. But anyway, 391's quite fast, isn't it?
And it was proof to the world that Horacio was right all along. As McLaren F1s began to go on sale in 1992, Pagani got to work on his own supercar.
All right, here we go, boy. Here we go, boys.
Pagani drug his carbon fiber autoclave all the way to Modena, Italy, and opened up his own shop. Initially known as Modena Design, this new firm rapidly became one of the world leaders in carbon fiber design and production. Out of the doors of its factory came parts for Ferrari's Formula One team, the Aprilia MotoGP team, and touring cars around the globe. Horacio quickly made a name for himself as a guy that could make fast cars faster. If you were a race team in the early 90s, you wanted what Pagani had to offer. Somewhere between consulting with the company that he left behind on their new Diablo and building top secret aircraft parts, Horacio called up his old friend and mentor, Juan Fangio, and told him to come over and help him out. It was time for him to finally follow through on his master plan to be Modena's next great car maker. He would codename the project C8, after Horacio's wife Christina and his love of the Mercedes C-Class race cars. To begin, Fangio and Pagani took everything they learned about racing and building race car parts for others, and applied those concepts to a radical new car design. Its outward appearance would come from Group C racing. During the 1980s, Le Mans cars were getting low, aerodynamic, and incredibly fast, screaming over 200 miles per hour down the Mulsanne, and prompting race officials to add in the now famous chicanes, just to slow them down and keep things safe. Pagani was inspired by the beauty of these low, aerodynamically sculpted race cars. He also says that he was inspired by women sunbathing on the beach, which, really embodies the ethos of Italian car design.
But listen, man, we're all better for it. We're all better for it. Like, listen, I know that there's probably going to be some people be like, oh, what the fuck, that's fucking sexist. Listen, man, women are just naturally better looking. All right. And I'm not saying that as like men are ugly, but no, it's like, I think we can all appreciate a good looking woman, like the curves and stuff like that. And taking those elements and putting them into car design, it just instantly makes it better. Like, again, my own car has hips. It has flowing hips at the back, and it is so good to look at. Right. And this goes to like basically everywhere else around my car, where it's just like sculpted. It's not like a flat surface or anything. It barely has any flat surfaces on it. It's all sculpted in a way that it's like curvy and flowy, and it just makes the car better, and it makes practically any car out there with curves better.
His flowing sketches then would be a combination of his two favorite artistic inspirations, women and race cars. The racing inspiration didn't end with Group C though. During the early 90s, Nissan had taken their speed wedge, the Z32-300ZX, and turned it into a fire-breathing Le Mans champion, the 300ZX IMSA GTS. Horacio took notes. After all, it was a fast car, and he was designing a fast car. So he added some of the advanced aero bits from the Nissan to his own drawings. Then, from his consulting with Lamborghini, he added large, single-piece body panels and large doors to his designs, perhaps remembering how hard the Countach was to get in and out of. Thanks also a partnership with Renault to build new aerodynamic carbon parts for their race cars and the wild Espace F1 concept.
Fuck is
He had learned important lessons in structural designs. Every day he would walk around his workshop, talk to Fangio and Balboni, and make improvements on the design based on what he experienced. Eventually, he had the basic shape worked out on paper. But before he could start to work on the actual plans, Project C8 needed something very important: a beating heart.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Obvious. Group C cars had V12s, so the C8 would need a V12. With help from Fangio, who remember was a race car driver for Mercedes-Benz, Horacio went to AMG and asked them for an engine. Even though he knew they were making a higher performance engine, ones that would eventually power their flying race car program, he humbly asked for lower spec 6-liter V12s, the same kind used in the sedans. Mercedes agreed and promised him just 5 M120 V12s from their warehouse. This is where the differences between Horacio and other car designers are exemplified. Gordon Murray demanded that his V12 make more than 550 horsepower, and was exemplified. Gordon Murray demanded that
seeing Gordon Murray with like dark hair, it's such a throw off, because every time I've seen Gordon Murray, he has like, because he's like old now, he's gray. I've never really seen him with like younger and with like dark hair, so this is a bit of like a kind of takes me back a bit.
And was upset when BMW wasn't able to shave an extra 20 pounds from the block. Horacio just wanted a V12 because all the best race cars had a V12, and the fact that it was a 400 horsepower sedan motor didn't really bother him a bit. Pagani was much more concerned about how it sounded. His mother had taught him to play the piano, and that love of music never left him. The harmony of 12 cylinders singing in unison is enough to move any heart, far more important than a few extra horses. Finally, all that was left was to combine all of the pieces together and give it a name. He would call the car the Fangio F1, after the driver who had been by his side from the very beginning. Sadly though, in the final stages of building this beautiful tribute to his friend Fangio, disaster would strike.
Oh no.
In the early days of May 1995, Juan Manuel Fangio passed away from health complications.
No.
His life, a colorful tapestry of racing history, and his passing, a crushing blow to a man named Horacio Pagani. After a period of intense mourning, Horacio returned to his office to continue the project they started together, but could not, in good conscience, name the car after his mentor so soon after his passing. Project C8 continued without a name for years, and finally in 1998, after the car had been in development for 6 years, Pagani took a prototype back to his home country of Argentina. There, in the Andes Mountains, winds could reach speeds of over 150 miles per hour, making it the perfect place to perfect a car's aerodynamics. The local population has a name for these blistering gusts of air.
Zonda.
The Zonda winds. Blessed by the spirit of his homeland, the C8 came back to Medina with a new name, the Mystical Wind, his wife Christina, and 12 cylinders, the Zonda C12. And at the Geneva Motor Show in 1999, it was revealed to the public. It was a pretty brave decision by Horacio to create an entirely new supercar in the late 90s. McLaren's F1 had raised the bar for everyone in the industry. Ferrari and Lamborghini were becoming titans. A new supercar would need to be something truly unique to stand out amongst that noise. Luckily, unique is kind of Pagani's whole thing. In 1999, you could buy Lamborghini's Diablo, a massive, beautiful supercar with a roaring V12 that was 10 damn years old and had Nissan headlights. The Zonda, meanwhile, was a bespoke sculpture made of space-age materials. And since there would only ever be 5 of them, it didn't matter what it cost because they were already priceless works of art. Nothing about the car was ordinary. The engine cover is held down with a leather strap, which complemented the custom luggage bags flanking that beautiful carbon-trimmed Mercedes V12.
I love, every time I see a Pagani, I love these air conditioning vents. It's so like fighter jet looking. You know what I mean? It just kind of also reminds me of like that, what's that fucking vacuum thing from the Teletubbies? That like snorkeling thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it kind of reminds me of like both its eyes and also the trunk thing.
The Zonda's gaudy interior makes your Rolex look mundane.
Hey, man. Listen, it may be gaudy, but at least all of this stuff here has a purpose.
Giant toggle switches stab out of an aluminum dash, flanked by suede and leather. or whatever other material you wanted, since each C12 was a completely custom hand-built machine. The pedal assembly is machined aluminum custom fit to your driving position.
I don't know how I would feel about using these pedals, because my car pedals are like basically the one on the right, because it's actually like, you know, I can put my whole foot on it. But with those like balls, those pancake looking things, I don't know. I feel like I'd be very concerned about if I'm actually like hitting the pedals or not.
Machined aluminum custom fit to your driving position. The seats were designed to conform to your body like an Armani suit, except made with better materials. Vents for the air conditioning resembled rocket motors, and unlike most Italian supercars of the time, they actually kept you cool. And finally, everywhere you look on the inside,
shots fired at Lamborghini,
is that amazing lightweight material known as carbon fiber, reminding you that not only is this car a truly beautiful thing to behold, it's also an engineering marvel. But of course, it's a supercar. How did it drive? It did only make a meager 400 horsepower due to that.
God, 400 horsepower, and like a brand new Porsche Cayman GTS that has 400 horsepower, and that is not a supercar. But like back then, even having 400 horsepower, like that was seen as like a supercar thing.
It did only make a meager 400 horsepower due to that pedestrian Mercedes V12. But it was light and it was aerodynamic, so performance was on par with what you'd expect from Italy's finest. But if you were judging a Pagani Zonda based on how fast it was, you were missing the point entirely.
Yep.
You don't judge the Sistine Chapel by its seating capacity. The Zonda was so much more than just another fast car. Contemporaries of the Zonda, like the CLK GTR and the Diablo, were downright hard to drive. The CLK was difficult to get into, hard to shift, and angry. It was a race car. It cared not how comfortable you were.
Oh my God.
The Diablo was a lead weight passed off as a car. Its focus entirely on aesthetic beauty, little care given to its user experience.
I don't know. I would still give a Diablo a try.
The Zonda, thanks to its ultralight construction, opulent interior, and absurd amounts of torque, was a dream to be in and drive. You could shift from first to fifth and accelerate away, a trick Horatio was proud to show people. To drive it, you didn't need to be a race car driver at all. And like the McLaren F1, because of the carbon fiber body, it didn't need ridiculous brakes or advanced driving aids. Any ham-fisted moron could enjoy the drive. Then, at the end of your Sunday drive, it was a car that you could park in front of the Louvre and get more attention than the paintings within. Despite the staggering price of nearly $300,000, which is well over $500,000 today.
Unfortunately,
57 buyers demanded a Zonda C12 of their own. Pagani now had a huge problem. They only had enough resources to build 5 total, and one of them had been used for testing.
Oh no.
So it's our first Geneva show. We wandered into the show and...
Yo, what's his name again? Ah, fuck, it's like Harry's Garage. I got it in the end. I don't actually like religiously watch this guy, but I know that a lot of car people like really take this guy's like words very seriously.
So it's our first Geneva show. We wandered into the show and just discovered Pagani, and we just couldn't believe this car. The first time we saw it and the magic ingredients.
God, it looks so good.
We couldn't understand how this car came from nowhere. And as we've watched the progression of Pagani, we all know we're now with Zonda R and Cinque. It's just been the most amazing 10, 11 years of progression, and he's really brought this company right to the fore and competes with the really big boys.
The consumer response had at least proven one thing. Horatio was right all along. He had proven to his old bosses at Lamborghini that he knew how to build a proper goddamn car. With that newfound confidence, what followed was pure insanity. Some designers would be happy with a one-hit wonder, they'd watch their car rise to greatness, and make a bunch of iterations for 10 years, and call it good. Instead, Horatio Pagani chose to constantly improve the Zonda.
Yep.
Always looking at the flaws, listening to feedback, and altering the design. Following the 1999 release of the C12, he immediately got back to work. A year later, he was back in Geneva. This time, Pagani Automobili had a couple more employees, and they set about building a brand new Zonda.
The S?
Zonda S.
Yeah.
Now powered by a 540 horsepower 7-liter V12.
7-liter.
Similar to the one found in the infamous CLK GTR Strassen version. It had sport-tuned suspension and an additional gear, meaning now if you felt so inclined you could shift from 1st to 6th. And the higher displacement engine was more than happy to keep you going. The C12S changed the Zonda from a competent supercar into a proper hypercar, with a top speed well over 200 miles per hour. A year later, there was the S7.3, which made even more torque. It became more modern, more behaved, thanks to traction control and ABS. That was followed by the Roadster. Usually, when a car becomes a convertible, it also becomes overweight, limp garbage. The Zondas being made completely out of carbon fiber, though, meant that the chassis stiffness was unchanged. The base car was stiff enough not to need reinforcement. The brilliant Roadster was followed by the Pagani Zonda F.
This is probably the one that I would go for. If I had the money to get a Pagani Zonda, this is probably the one that I would go with. Because there is absolutely no way I would get a Cinque, because like those ones, like, they're never being sold basically. But you have more of a chance of getting a Zonda S or an F. Between the Zonda S and the Zonda F, I don't know, the Zonda F just has all those aesthetics that I just really like.
There, in 2005, Fangio's name was finally affixed to a creation by Pagani. The F was extensively re-engineered. AMG had managed to force out an astonishing 600 horsepower out of their V12. It had inconel exhausts, like the McLaren F1, Brembo carbon ceramic brakes, and since Pagani was now at the forefront of carbon fiber development, the Zonda F had a new type of carbon fiber called Z-Preg that weighed less but was stronger. A special edition
That's a weird different type of Mpreg. Am I right, guys?
carbon fiber called Z-Preg that weighed
Jesus
less
Christ.
but was stronger. A special edition Pagani Zonda F would become one of the fastest cars around the Nürburgring, beating the Ferrari Enzo. It even beat the Bugatti Veyron around the Top Gear test track. This performance, of course, wasn't really Horatio's focus. He once said that speed makes you lose sight of what's important to you, that as you drive faster and faster, your vision through the windscreen gets narrower and narrower
Tunnel
until
vision.
all you can see is the road. And he wanted you to see his car. That apparently didn't stop him from building faster and faster cars anyway. Case in point, the Zonda R, a special
Crazy.
track-only Zonda, a completely new car that shared only 10% of its parts with the street car, rumored to be built as a testbed for the upcoming Huayra. It was such an incredible car, it had birthed the Zonda Cinque,
Yeah.
the legal version of the Zonda R. They both had paddle shifters capable of shifting in less than 100 milliseconds and were made of a new substance. Pagani had to remain one of the leaders of the carbon fiber world, so when it came time to upgrade his darling Zonda, Horatio chose to pioneer the use of carbotanium, fusion of carbon fiber and titanium. There were only 5 Cinques produced. Cinque being the Italian
It looks so good. Look how good it looks. I love it. 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 Oh, it looks so good. The Cinque just looks so fucking good, man. Like this orange, like the Cinque that I love is the green one, but this orange always looks so fucking good. Especially because, like, I'm a bit biased because, you know, Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, but like it's just such a perfect cover car.
word for 5. But that wasn't exclusive enough. Art loses
Ew,
all
yellow,
meaning if
ew.
it's repetitive after all. So following the Cinque was the Tricolore. These were Zondas that were tributes to the Italian aerobatics team.
Oh, that's so
and there were
cool.
only 3 of them ever built. Each one sold for a mere $1.5 million. In 2012, at the Goodwood Festival of Speed, Zonda showed the world its fastest creation yet, the Revolution. With the newest iteration of Mercedes V12 making nearly 800 horsepower.
I thought that was the Huayra for a second, the Huayra, and I just have to say, I have to be honest. If I'm ranking all the Paganis, the Huayra is at the bottom. I've just, the sound is gone. I'm not a fan of the design. I have to be honest. I'm just not a fan of the design. It's just not the Pagani for me. I would much rather have the Utopia. Like the Utopia is in a good number second. Good number 2, but the Zonda will always be number 1.
With the newest iteration of Mercedes V12 making nearly 800 horsepower, double what the original C12 made. Like the R, it was only meant for the racetrack. And like the R, it was also followed by a road-going version, the HP Barchetta, one of the most stunning Italian cars ever built. Like many Paganis, the Barchetta is not painted. There is simply a blue lacquer added to the carbon titanium body.
That's fucking
showing
crazy.
to the world the beauty of the material that Pagani pioneered so many years before. It is rumored to be the last iteration of the Zonda, and in classic Pagani style, only 3 were ever built. One has been crashed, and one is Horatio's personal car. A worthy gift to himself for crafting a symphony of incredible machines for over a decade.
I will build my own birthday gift.
Each one unique, and each one an improvement over the last. Every single one of them uniquely Pagani.
Hell yeah.
With the trio of Barchettas unleashed upon the world, Horatio had finally painted his first masterpiece. A beautiful, colorful painting of what supercars were meant to be. Moving pieces of art. Not just soulless machines with space-age technology and lifeless designs, but elegant, flowing, impactful devices that demand attention and speak to the unique visions of their creators. Today, we are entering a new era of fast cars, where the engineers, not the artists, hold the controls. Engines are getting smaller, drivetrains are getting more complex, and electricity is bringing the age of roaring engines to an end at a breakneck pace.
No.
In the heart of Horatio, though, the wind has not stopped blowing. With his brush, he has painted grander designs, the Wyra and now the Utopia, still backed by an orchestra of 12 cylinders, designed with poetic lines and featuring details that could only come from Horatio himself. New creations that sing in the same key as the original Zonda. Throughout its more than 20 years of constant improvements, the Zonda never lost its soul. Pure emotion painted on a carbon fiber canvas. Raw power without turbos or electric motors. A perfect blend of science and art. What he gave the world was the fully realized vision of a young boy from Argentina, who dreamed of one day returning home to Italy to create something special. Inspired by Leonardo da Vinci, scorned by Lamborghini, and driven by Juan Manuel Fangio, Pagani's Zonda would be the wind of change in Italy that would blow through the entire automotive world.
Awesome. All right, before we end this video, I just want to show you guys a few things. Alright, so that was Pagani Lamborghini's biggest mistake. They certainly did make a mistake letting Horatio go. Or more accurately, he left. Because he was just like, I want to make my carbon fiber. And they were just like, no. So, hey-ho. But anyway, I hope you guys like this video. I love this video. I love Pagani. So I felt it felt really good to be able to glaze over them. I don't like them as much as Porsche. Porsche will always be my favorite, but Pagani is a very close second. It's very weird how both of them begin with P. I kind of just noticed that. But if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. And remember that I stream over on Twitch very often, basically 2-3 times a week. So you can catch me there if you want to see some of these videos live. With that, have a great rest of your day. Ta-da! Also, how would you rate my outro there? It was a 10 out of 10, right? Very much 10 out of 10? You better goddamn say yes. Definitely 10 out of 10. Hell yeah, bro. I knew you'd be there for me.